Hello, I am back and welcome everybody to a new episode of my WICSO. Now this is a edited map. I've fixed everything wrong with my original map, and I've also fixed up the borders thanks to a Norwegian helping me out a little bit. But I'm gonna be adding a lot more to this map than I had in my first map, which was kind of a little bit of a mess up. But I really do like how much I changed this map with a Norwegian. Now, we're going to see a little bit of expansion into Africa, some new lands be discovered, and some breakaways. So, I know we don't have the water layer yet. Not really layer, but we do have the capital layer. I couldn't get the major city layer to fully transfer, like where it would be good as a transfer, so we're just gonna work with that. But other than that, we're going to see a little bit of discovery in the Horn of Africa, and I think that will be real nice. But other than that, we're not going to see really much happening out of this episode, mainly just adjusting to the new map, and then we're going to see a lot more after that. But I really do like how everything's changed on this map. It was looking real bad because I had just barely learned how to properly draw borders. So now it just looks night and day because of me and Norwegian fixing it up. Other than that, we're doing pretty good here. A bit of the western coast of Africa. And then, actually in Asia, we're going to see some expansion. Here we have minor expansions from Korea. Here we see minor expansions up to the north from China. And we also see a little bit of an exploration group connecting China and Europe. Here we have our daily India update. So here we're going to see some expansion from the red team. Here we see some of the red team expansion. And then not much else is going to happen in India. So we're just going to go over to Arabia to see how everything's going in there. Here we see some minor expansions from Yemen in the UAE country. This Oman UAE country. But other than that, we're going to see some wars in Europe. As usual, maybe even some breakaways, rebellions, and everything. So here we're going to see this red team rebel from the Portuguese country, and this war is going to be a little long, but we're just going to map it out real quick. Here we're going to see a push from the Portuguese team into the red team. Now this dark red team isn't really going to start picking up much speed until they start leading some rebellions closer to their mountains over here. Now, this is going to be a fully different rebellion. I'm going to color it a different color later on, but this rebellion only just wants to take its territory over here. So they're going to go over here, and then the Portuguese country is not going to have access to their land over here. So then what we're going to see here is this new country get involved into a war. So here we have this red team pushing down into the Portuguese area, and then we're going to see Portuguese push back this country a little bit. Nothing much really happens. It's more of a back and forth war, so we really don't see much. But we do start to see major pushes and maybe some other countries getting involved soon. Now this green team is slowly going to push into the Portuguese team. The Portuguese fully lose this, so they fully surrender to this team and this team. So here we have a quick ending to this front over here. But then we see rebellion groups form over here. Now the Portuguese are going to fully take out this rebellion group over here. So that's going to start up this fight again, but not after the Portuguese start a push into this country a little bit. And this push is going to look like this, with a slow push from here all the way over here. And then they're going to be pushed back a lot. So they're just going to crash down on these guys, fully encircling the invading forces. And then here we go. This team is just going to crash down on them, causing encirclements everywhere, slowly grabbing major cities, capitulating some areas, and the Portuguese have been struggling over here too. And then they surrender. Now let's look at a peace deal. Over here we don't see the red team and the green team taking too much land. Over here we see this orange country get its independence. Other than that, we don't see much else happening in here, except for a new leader being elected over here, being pro green team. This green team is really going to be important for this area, so I'm just going to color them a better color. That way they're more noticeable on the map. But here we go, and we're going to see the collapse of this country over here. Now this country has been really important, and I think maybe a fan favorite for a few people. This country right over here. I really do like this country, but it has to go. So here we're going to see the old Denmark team slowly start a push into this country. It's not really going to go anywhere in the first few days. It's just really going to be a stalemate with them equally being strong enough, because these guys are struggling with some internal issues. Now, if they weren't, they would absolutely roll over the Danish team. But they aren't. Then we're going to see this Prussian team get involved here. They're going to slowly make a push. They don't really want to do anything here. They are struggling with some internal issues, but this is just a way they're trying to fuel their economy. So they're just doing this war completely for war gain through war economy. But this is completely going to off-center the purple team. And then they're going to get an encirclement over here. This Danish country is going to get pushed back a little bit, and then they're going to start an invasion. So the Danish are going to slowly push back this little movement into their territory, while this country is also going to slowly push back movement into their territory from the Danes. And this is going to be really bad. Not much is going to happen. It's going to be slow, but still, this is just going to really take a while and really just show how hard this war is going to be. One, their military is on point with the rebellions, the little uprisings happening in their country. but not on point with this. So what we're going to see overall is a Danish victory, with them pushing back an invasion into their territory. So we're going to see land gains here, and then they're just going to push, push, and push slowly and slowly, and then they're going to start strengthening up their attacks and moving into here, making encirclements, and then we're going to see a collapse in this country, actually, because they're too busy dealing with rebel groups all across their country and uprisings everywhere. So here we're going to see a peace deal because this country collapses. I am done with the peace deal here, and we saw the pretty good collapse of the purple team, and it split off into 3 different countries down here, and then these 2 countries took land. So here we see with this Yugoslavian country, they're going to slowly break away into many different countries just because their country sort of just falls apart on their own. The government knows about it. They really can't do nothing. So they're slowly going to break away into different parts. And I'm going to draw in this real quick. Alright, Yugoslavia splits into western and eastern Yugoslavia. North and south is a little dangerous, if you know what I mean, Korea. Ain't that right? Dun 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 dun. Dun dun dun. But anyways, we're gonna put capitals on a few of these nations, since I did not do that. But here we're going to see one here, here, here. My bad, that's the wrong layer. But here, here. We're gonna need a new color for this, so this is going to be gold. And then this one's going to be yellow, like the normal capitals. But other than that, we don't see much other rebellions happening. We might if we have another war. I'm still deciding on that. But other than that, these are the new countries. I'm feeling good about this map. I need to do the sea layer. So if any of y'all have some ideas on what I could do for sea discovery, let me know. So here we're going to see some African expansion. It ain't going to be much, but it's going to be from Greece. So they're going to slowly itch down the what's this? What's this sea? The Arabian Sea? Red Sea? I don't know. But they're going to slowly push and creep along here, following this Arabian Sea until they can't expand no more. So they're also going to make some land expansions into the Nile River, which not many WICSO series have really done major expansions into the Nile River. I don't know why though. The Nile is such an important part of civilization in Africa, especially early civilization, and just not including it just don't seem right. It is Pro didn't add it to his series, so I'm just gonna add it to mine just to differentiate myself a little bit more, because it is the most important river to colonialism and different other civilizations based off of this river. And even to this day, countries are constantly relying on the Nile River, especially Egypt and Sudan. But other than that, that's just going to be it for the African expansion in this area. So here we're going to see the return of the Venice team as a different color though. Since Dark did mess up the Venice team for Antonio, the ruler of it, I'm just going to be nice to him, and the ruler of the team over here. But this is going to be a light blue cyan country over here, just in here, and they're really going to fight over here, but they really can't do much. So we're just going to see a permanent border be set up, and these guys are going to be like North Korea and South Korea, or India and Pakistan. We're going to see constant fighting between these two countries all throughout history, and constant skirmishes, but that's really going to be really dangerous for this environment. But we're going to see not much happening from today's episode. I'm getting back into this mapping stuff again. I took like a break for a week because school, and I wasn't feeling well. I still ain't feeling well. I'm dealing with a medical problem right now. But other than that, I'm really wanting to get back into this and produce more content with y'all, and really buckle down on Spooky Mappers. But other than that, this is going to be it for today's video. This is a 17-minute recording session. No, 17-minute video. Like a 30-minute recording. But I'm gonna go to bed after I'm done recording and posting this on, scheduling this on YouTube actually. So good night everybody. It'll be good afternoon for everybody on the East Coast. But other than that, have a good day.